You're listening to The Dollop on the All Thingy Comedy Network. This is an American history podcast where each week I, Dave Anthony, read a story from American history to a giant boob.
Gareth Reynolds, who won't push back and who has no idea what the topic is going to be about.
You're not going to
I
push
won't
back?
push back. No. I will say, Dave, we've been talking about this. We're doing three. This is a three-parter. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is.
You can't see?
No, I can't, even if I could see. But I'm excited. I think it said Pinocchio.
It's Pinocchio!
It's exciting.
It's a Pinocchio.
Do you like doing a three-parter?
He was born in the year that so passing me by.
Did you know this was going to be 3 parts when you started, or is this one of those ones where you just were like...
I did not do the research. I sent this to our new researcher,
Luke Simmons.
Josh Androsky, who has done a couple. He's done some stuff. I sent this one to him.
That's exciting.
And I knew it would be long. I thought it'd be 2. And he said it's pretty long. So yeah, it's 3.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
That's exciting. And if people want to know who Josh is, just Google Rabbi Price is Right mushrooms.
Yeah, that's right.
And you'll see.
Yeah. He comes up there.
I remember when one time the 3 of us were out somewhere. We were at the Bigfoot Lodge years ago.
Yeah.
And you guys were talking so negatively about Obama. And I was like, the hell are these guys talking about? I was like, what are they talking about? I was like...
We saw things coming.
I was genuinely like, Jesus, guys, look, I got notes, but come on.
Do you know who the right wing's Obama is?
Ooh, me?
It's Donald Trump, baby.
Yeah.
April 14th, 1941, the year of our Lord, J-Town.
Did he put that in there?
Also, J-Lo and the JJ Music Factory is what he put in. I don't think that's true, though. I don't think...
I'm not the history guy.
Peter Edward Rose was born on one of the greats.
Oh, my God.
I didn't know until he sent me... I mean, I knew some stuff, but I didn't know until he sent me this.
It's nice that he just passed, too.
Boy.
What a tribute.
He was born on the west side of Cincinnati, Ohio, to Laverne and Harry Francis Rose, but everybody called him...
You ever given a girl a Harry Rose?
Is that the kind of podcast this is going to be?
Come on.
Well, define it.
Harry Rose.
Break it down for people. What's the Harry Rose you give to a young lady?
It's a euphemism for getting a blowjob with a cock ring. Thorny.
Why the Harry?
Hey, come on, we all got... What, are you shaving?
Oh, yeah, I'm like a baby.
Yeah. I'm going extra bush.
Is there anything creepier than a fully shaved 50-year-old man?
What? Now, is this kind of podcast? What are you? What's your style?
Hey, ladies.
What is your style?
I mostly do letters.
I got a mohawk.
I usually have a political slogan.
You know what I like to do? I shave it all off, and then I put rubber cement on my penis, and then I roll it around in that.
Yeah.
It's called the Harry Rose.
You finally figured it out. So everybody called Harry Big Pete.
Okay.
And since father was Big Pete, the son came to be known as Little Pete.
It's tough. That's by the way, that's an important seed.
Well, that was appropriate, though, because he was about 2 sizes smaller than the rest of the kids that he grew up with.
Okay.
So the west side of Cincinnati, very proud, working class, German immigrants type place. They worked with their hands, they're hands-on folks. Is permanently run down, just dilapidated, just like hanging together, cinder blocks and mortar, right? It's not great.
Okay.
Which is all gone in our country now.
What?
Oh, that sort of thing. That
the
look,
sort of level
dilapidated.
Right.
Everything's very shiny and pretty.
Well, we're the shining city on a hill.
Yeah. We should rename the country the Jetsons Land.
Yeah. No, we're definitely. I don't know if you've seen some of the stuff that China and Japan are doing.
Hey, can I just stop you right there and point out that I just brought up a cartoon reference from 50 years ago?
It's come back. It's being rebooted.
The Rose family embodied all of this. Little Pete had a relatively normal family. The only thing you could say it wasn't classically American working class was his grandfather's pet monkey.
We've been doing this for a while. I can't look. I understand ethically it's problematic, and I'm sure this monkey was treated horribly. It probably had to wear some sort of fez or something like that. Yeah. I can't help what the science of what my body goes through when I hear pet monkey. It's excited. Yeah. I'm happy.
Yeah. Do you want a pet monkey?
So bad that it's crazy.
I can imagine.
So bad that it's crazy.
I can imagine you have a pet monkey. Is it illegal to have a pet monkey?
I don't. I think there's ways around it. I mean, if you go to Instagram, there's a lot of pet monkeys.
Yeah, but you just basically said you want to break the law.
No, I'm not breaking the law. And more than anything, it's ethically. I don't want to house a monkey, but I will say, sometimes you see these videos of people say, I saw this monkey this monkey was covered in crabs. We've all been there. That's called the hairy rose. This monkey was covered in crabs.
This is a great story.
Tiny monkey. Little
like sea crabs or
no, real like crabs you'd want to eat.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's how I define it. There's crabs you don't want, and then there's the ones you want to eat. But he's covered in crabs. For some reason, crabs are just all over this monkey. This guy gets the crabs off this monkey. The monkey's in mud. He takes him back to his place. He nurses the monkey. And then the monkey's tiny, and he's wearing like onesies and like stuff like that. And look, if I ever go out and I find a monkey
covered in crabs,
just like in need.
Well, at that point you saved him, yeah.
It's not going. That's what I need. Yeah. I need to set up a situation where I just buy a monkey, pretend to find it on a hike, and then I'm like scot-free.
You'd be like, he was covered in crabs.
Just like Daddy.
I found him down by Sears in the parking lot.
He was in a pet store covered in crabs.
He was in an abandoned Sears.
Yeah.
Is that not right?
It was crazy. So I go to malls a lot and jog through them, and boy, oh boy, I went to Animals Unlimited that had been shut down, but I find they must have left a monkey in there. He's covered in crabs.
Okay. This is about the monkey. Quote, I don't remember how we got rid of it or if it died. None of us killed it. You couldn't get close enough or it'd bite you.
See, this is the downside.
So it's not a happy monkey.
It's not a happy monkey, but why would it be a happy monkey when in your description of the monkey's life, you say, we didn't kill it, but we also don't know what happened to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they killed it.
They probably had like a chimp.
No, it's too big. I bet it was a little spider monkey type thing.
I'm loving it.
Big Pete was a multi-sport semi-pro athlete who had, quote, fists the size of coffee canisters and a face like a chiseled rock.
Wow.
A little bit like me.
Sure. Yep. He definitely got rock head.
He'd play baseball in the spring and summer, and he batted .300, which if you don't know, if you're like from Australia, you don't enjoy actual sports, it's really good.
Have you ever watched a man play Dinky Danny? Now that's a sport. You Yankees, you're always claiming you got to go watch a guy. Load of us went down there the other day, drink a ton, and we watched a Dinky Danny match. That's a sport.
People are so mad at your accent right now.
As they should be. I need a couple practice swings.
It's good enough for me.
Thank you. Yeah, it's America. All I'm going for is America Passport. Right. I just want the greatest nation on earth to like it.
That's right. He played basketball in the winter and especially football every autumn. And Big Pete dominated a league of factory workers while scouts from the Bears, Browns, and Packers looked on.
Wow. Some legit teams.
Big Pete would, two of them are. Big Pete would often make little side bets with other players on who would do the best. And he would always bet on himself to win.
Okay.
So he was so good that the local news created...
Five shadowing.
He was so good that the local news created an entire football obstacle course for him inside their studio.
Wow.
The grand finale of the obstacle course?
The Eliminator.
Spear tackling a desk chair made of wood and metal.
Spear tackling it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Since this would obviously harm any man, the network draped a big blanket on the chair and asked Big Pete if he was ready. He was, except one thing, quote, "Take the blanket off. You think I'm a sissy?"
Yeah. Well, bravado. Yeah. It's again, we're seeing seeds. We're germinating.
He hit the chair so hard, one of the arms flew off, and the
Of
rest
him?
smashed into pieces on the floor.
Of him,
No,
or
he kept his arms.
Okay, so the chair arm fell
Yeah.
off.
So
Can we just admit that news used to kick ass? Local news used to just be fucking awesome. It really now it's dog shit now.
yeah, it's fucking terrible.
But
now.
man, imagine a
good.
local news producer being like, "Then we're gonna bring in this guy who's really good at football and he's gonna attack a chair."
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Let's go."
Now it's just so bad. Gareth, the Dollop is brought to you by Rocket Money, a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bill so you can grow your savings.
Dave, it's true.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing
There's
wrong with
nothing in there that everybody wants that.
Get on board.
Get on board, because in today's world, with all of the different ways you can sign up for stuff and all the different credit cards you have and ways to pay for stuff, it gets lost. Stuff gets lost.
Yes.
You don't know you bought something.
And
you forgot about it.
And they keep telling you, "Oh, we got your password," and then you don't know where it is. I mean, that's a problem outside of Rocket Money, but it is. It can be very frustrating to be a human.
That's not.
I understand.
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about when
Traffic's
you sign up
awful.
for.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, when you sign up for a service, whatever it is, you're buying a toothbrush subscription like most people do today, or you're signing up for a Packers radio.
I even have another one that was recent where I completely forgot to cancel a subscription for some big food delivery, preparing for the apocalypse, and I forgot. And Rocket Money was like, "Bro," and I was like, "You're right. I'm not a restaurant."
Yeah, and Rocket Money, that's what Rocket Money does. It reaches out to you and it says, what's going on here? And you go, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Press a button, they take care of it. All gone. All gone. Also, Rocket Money, what's it called? Refinanced my internet service and saved me $300 a year. So Rocket Money does all kinds of stuff like that. It helps you save money. This is a time saver, because I don't know if you've had to call these companies and tried to get them to end the service, but that can be a nightmare on its own.
They're not there anymore. They stopped answering.
They're just gone.
Yeah.
So Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when they use all of the app's premium features. It's great. We both use it. We both love it.
Yes.
I no longer have a toothbrush subscription because of Rocket Money.
Or a toothbrush. You've stopped brushing entirely.
I also stopped brushing. So look, cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Download the Rocket Money app and enter our show name, The Dollop, with Dave Anthony and Gareth Reynolds in the survey so they know that we sent you. Don't wait. Download the Rocket Money app today and tell them you heard about us from the show.
Yeah.
Heard about them from the show. You heard about Rocket Money from us.
It's clear. I think people get it.
You guys, don't make me yell. The Dollop is also brought to you by Helix. Helix, of course, is a mattress situation. They also have pillows. But the hog, as it were, the main part of the hog is the thick, juicy part. That's the mattresses that they sell.
Are you all right?
And then they also will sell like a hoof, which is like the pillows.
I think you're thinking of a pig.
I'm comparing the offers of Helix sleep to what's on a pig.
Okay. The Helix mattress is phenomenal. We both have it. We both have the actual same bed, but we got it after taking the quiz. We went on. You take a quiz. It's an easy quiz. I cheated off of Dave, so that's how we ended up getting the same mattress. California Ducks Lux for life.
Yep. And we both sleep comfortably now. Now my son has a Helix mattress because he wanted one that was just like mine. And
you're
and
a
now
double
we're
Helix.
Yeah, a double Helix. We're sleeping like babies. My sleep is improved. I have this is my sleep thing, monitor. It's a watch,
it's like a Wonder
Apple
Woman
Watch. And it says, you sleep like a baby. It tells me that. I wake up and it goes, hey, baby, how you doing? So it's all because of the
sleep
Helix.
Great. I think you sleep like an elder is better, probably.
Okay, I sleep like an elder, like an old man.
Like a man clinging to life.
Yeah, but my sleep is improved with the Helix.
Same.
And I also don't wake up with the little lower backache like I used to get with my old mattress. What we're saying is get yourself a Helix, even if you have a bunch of sleep issues, night sweats, back pain, motion issues, whatever. Helix can solve all that stuff. Go to helixsleep.com/dollop for a sheet set and mattress protector with any Luxe or Elite mattress offer. That is pretty sweet. That's helixsleep.com/dollop for a sheet set and mattress protector with any Luxe or Elite mattress offer. This is exclusive for listeners of the Dollop. helixsleep.com/dollop. Sheet set and mattress protector with any Luxe or Elite mattress offer. Exclusive for listeners of the Dollop.
Yeah.
Gareth, we're also brought to you by a Nutrafol. Nutrafol, of course, a lot of guys, human guys, their hair, it starts going away after a little bit. It's just, this is part of life. This is part of being a man. Not that great. Most people don't enjoy it. Most people are like, why? I don't want this to be happening. And there's a bunch of different reasons why it can go on. Anxiety, health, nutrition, just hereditary. There's tons of different reasons.
Sure.
But look, there are answers to that. And one of those answers is Nutrafol. It helps you get more volume in your hair. And you may have heard of Nutrafol's. I don't know what that is. You may have heard of Nutrafol's.
It gets it louder, volumes.
Stop.
Okay.
No, let's just not.
Yeah. You
may have heard of Nutrafol's hair growth supplements and wondered, do they actually work? Well, that's a fair question. And many hair supplements.
It's a hair question. I will stop. I'm done.
Yeah, you should not talk.
Thank you.
Many hair supplements overpromise and they underdeliver, but Nutrafol is different. It delivers. As the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, it's trusted by over 1.5 million people and is clinically tested to deliver real results in just 3 to 6 months, which it did with me. I started taking it within 6 months. My couple of friends were like, "Did you get? Are you doing Rogaine? Did you get hair plugs?"
Why do you say Rogaine so strangely? What's that all about?
I'm not talking about Joe Rogan. And they
say
said
it like a painting, like an artist would.
Yeah, Rogaine. It's beautiful.
Okay.
And then my wife noticed it, and my hairdresser was like, "Are you what's going on with you?" So it works. Those are the people that mostly look at my head right there. The people I just described.
Interesting.
Nutrafol's hair growth supplements are physician formulated using 100% drug-free ingredients, and their patented technology provides consistent, reliable results. Nutrafol Men is clinically proven to improve hair growth and quality. Plus, men are also reported no impact to sexual performance.
There we go.
And I can vouch for that.
Well, what's the point of having all that hair if you're not going to be able to? I'll stop. That's over 3.
Start your hair growth journey with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month's subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com/man and enter the promo code TheDollop. Find out why Nutrafol is the leading hair growth supplement brand on the market at Nutrafol.com/men, spelled Nutrafol.com/men. Promo code TheDollop. That's Nutrafol.com/men. Promo code TheDollop. So Little Pete idolized Big Pete, modeling everything he does after his old man, including his notorious work ethic.
Okay.
And as young boy Pete got his first job collecting fares down the street at the Flywheel Ferry that crossed the Ohio River.
Okay.
5 cents a person, 35 cents for cars. Now, Little Pete loved the feeling of the metal coins being pressed into his hands. Just loves that money.
Interesting.
And Mr. Kopmeyer, who ran the ferry, would let him take home enough nickels that they jangled in his pockets when he ran to his favorite after-work hangout, Schulte's Bar.
Wow.
Pete's just a young boy.
Yeah, right.
So he couldn't go in and drink. Instead, he would hang outside with the other boys, and they'd gamble.
Okay, better. Yeah, well, look, it's without revealing, I don't know much, but certainly gambling
Keeps
impressed upon him.
Keeps coming up for some reason. So the game they played was called Lagging Pennies, and to play, you'd stand a distance away from the exterior wall of Schulte's and toss a penny at the wall, and the closest penny wins.
Yeah, Michael Jordan played that in The Last Dance. And basketball, I think, too.
Yeah, that was going to say. He was, yeah.
I believe he also was a basketball player.
Even though the other boys would throw harder and farther than Pete, his eye-hand coordination was so good that a flick of his wrist, he could land that penny right up against the wall.
That's all that matters. That's the game you're playing.
Now, Pete has talent. Little Pete has talent, and Big Pete is consumed by his kid's talent.
That's so similar to you and I.
Coaching him, all he could do, eat, sleep, breathe, coaching the kid. He just wants the kid. So he forces him to bat and throw switch-handed. So hitting switch is when you from both sides, right and left. Now throwing switch is very odd and doesn't happen. There's a couple guys who can do it, but they're just naturally ambidextrous.
Yeah,
but you don't know.
Is there an advantage to it?
No. Well, if you're a pitcher, you can switch depending on the batter.
Right. Okay. Right.
But other than that, no. I mean,
that is an advantage for a pitcher, though.
I guess you could play every position on the field, right? So
sure.
There are positions you don't put a left-handed player, like second and right. They're usually at first base in the outfield. Those are left-handers,
right?
So I guess you. So I guess there would be.
There's an advantage. But I mean, look, we rag on this sort of stuff, but again, Tiger wins.
So, but he was just doing this because he thought it might make him good for the Little League team. He buys Little Pete boxing gloves with money that was supposed to go to shoes for his daughters.
Yeah, well,
but
sorry.
What's going to pay off?
Yeah. Who needs...
right.
Do little girls need shoes more? Or, you know what I mean?
They can...
if this hits, they're going to have fuck you shoe money.
You've heard the term barefoot in the kitchen or whatever. Yeah. Is that a phrase? It is now.
No, I was just being supportive, but no one's ever said it as a phrase.
Barefoot and...
What does it mean?
Well, barefoot and pregnant is the term.
Barefoot and pregnant?
But the way I like to say it is barefoot in the kitchen.
I've never heard barefoot and pregnant either.
Yeah, that's
was that like poor?
Well, that's like the woman shouldn't be working and should be in the house.
So we can't
always
give her
ready
shoes?
for her feet to be licked.
We can't. No, I think.
I think pretty sure it's a thing. As a matter of fact, I think one of the popes came up with that. So, the first time Little Pete hit a line drive in the yard, it went straight through a glass window, shattering it. Big Pete dismisses the idea of fixing it. The broken window is proof of Pete's first hit. And when he becomes a big league star, it would be a piece of history.
Now, this is where the girls not wearing shoes comes. If you're letting him break windows and you aren't buying shoes for your children, that's where it starts to become a little bit more dangerous. You sure?
They'll figure it out.
Okay.
Big Pete's mantra was hustle.
Okay.
Every aspect of being an athlete could be made better if they hustled. Little Pete didn't have the money for good equipment or coaching. He didn't have the size. He really even have the talent. But if his father had his way, hustling would become Little Pete's superpower, and Big Pete never let him forget it. And in middle school, the other boys kind of loomed over Little Pete like giants. He's not a big kid.
Sure.
And he became Pee-wee Pete or Puny Pete.
It's tough.
This is not good.
Pee-wee Pete is tough.
I can tell you from watching all of Finn's friends grow up together, the ones who are still small, it's not great.
But if we can, hang in there.
Hang in there.
Hang in there, okay?
Hang in there. Eventually, women like really short men.
Listen, no.
When you're like 30.
Develop your personality.
Yeah.
You are going to, absolutely. You're going to go on your dating profile, and there's going to be a lot of women who say, I'm under 6 feet, no thanks. And you're going to think, what the fuck? And it's going to hurt you. And just remember, that's what it's been like to be a woman forever.
So it's no longer really a cute family nickname, right? It's like an albatross around the kid.
Sure.
Little Pete still made the teams, but he would sit on the bench while the other kids played.
Yeah. Well, they need that guy.
Finn played a game yesterday, and it's one of the top programs they played against one of the top programs in the country and beat him. But there's a kid batting fifth, and he was the shape of a meatball.
What kind of meatball?
A spicy meatball.
Damn it.
he's round. He's a little round guy. He's not tall. He's very short. He's very short. He looks like he's under 5 feet. And he's round. And I'm like,
is he round?
He's round. And I look at the other parents and I go, the only way a kid that shape makes it onto a high school team, especially a high school team of this caliber, is if he's really fucking good, because you have to work against the stereotypes where they just look at you and go, you can't play.
Yeah.
Immediately they think, and sure enough, he's the best hitter.
He is.
Yeah. On the team. Yeah. He just smacks it. But like, so Pete, when you're small, they're just like, no.
Do we call him Pete Ball?
Yeah.
Spicy Pete Ball.
Spicy Pete Ball. So he's a tiny guy. Okay. He really loves baseball, but it's something he loved more. When Big Pete took his kids to the racetrack.
Oh, fuck. He didn't stand a shot.
That was the day, the happiest moments of little Pete's childhood. Standing at the rail, watching the horses, screaming for daddy's horse to win, jumping up and down, just...
Well, the euphoria of when he wins, I'm sure, was only cut by the absolute pain and disappointment when he lost.
Huh?
Yeah.
In high school,
like football, he's hugging you a lot when he wins. You probably were like, my dad's happy today.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
In high school, football became... Sorry, my son needs $1.35. Why don't you just ask me for more?
Does he not have $1.35?
He does, but I don't understand what's happening. Like, he's got money.
What is he?
Oh, he's requesting 20 now.
There you go. Smart. That's how they get you.
Better. I mean, you got to go in for the big money. I gave him like a credit card, and it's full. I load it up, right?
Sure.
But it's got like $200 on it. But he's just like, yeah, I left it at home. Yeah, so I gotta do this during the podcast.
You need me to come in and teach this boy a lesson, because he's having his way with you. Now, I'll admit, when I see him now, I'm a little more intimidated. He's a man.
He is bigger
but
than
you.
He
needs Uncle Gary to come around and start showing him a thing or two.
He's probably bigger than you at this
Doesn't
point.
matter. What I've got, problems.
He's probably got more
I've got
muscles.
what a kid can't learn, problems.
Yeah.
I have problems. Mental, physical, there's problems. I'm going to let him feel what it's like to be around me. Mm-hmm. He'll fall in line.
Let's just stay away from my kid, yeah?
Well, see, you're going to be a problem. And I will deal with you how I need to. I'm going to raise your boy the way I think he should be raised. And by the way, there's not even a contract on the table. You've already signed it. This plan is in motion.
You can barely raise a cat, which you've created an abusive cat.
Yes. By the way, first of all, fuck you. Second of all, now that's it. This whole thing just got a lot more personal and weird.
Garnet. Your coffee says Garnet.
I settled for Garrett, and then I wrote on the cup Garnet.
Oh, shit. Like we said, loved the horsies. In high school, football becomes Pete's favorite sport. Okay. Little Pete. But he doesn't play. You know why?
He's tiny.
He's a tiny guy. The only time he played sports was in a baseball league outside of school. He wasn't close to the best player on his team, but he hustled. He was the biggest hustler.
Sure.
He turned singles into doubles into triples. He broke up double plays by sliding headfirst into second. Did not care about his safety. Did not care about anyone else's safety.
Good.
Yet all he could think about was playing football with his high school friends. His hustle, however, became contagious, and his baseball team won the city championship.
Okay.
His teammates loved his hustle. He was elected captain. He got his picture in the paper with other team captains. But the paper comes out on a sad day for little Pete. It's the same day that he was cut from the football team. And one thought takes over his mind. Fuck school. He's a little Gareth Reynolds.
I was going to say, I've been there. all day, every day. They were like, what are you thinking about? I was like, how I shouldn't be here and how this whole thing's such bullshit.
Dude, my wife loves school, and she's just always, I wish I could go to school forever. And
what? In what way? In like high school?
No, just keep going. Just keep getting degrees and shit. And Finn will come in and just be like, oh, God, I fucking hate school. I'm like, right, you're supposed to hate school. I hated school, too. And she's just like, I cannot believe this is my child.
Oh,
and I'm
my
like,
God.
I made him right.
Oh, that is you are supposed to hate it.
Yeah.
They are really, truly, and this is where it's like, look, you got to get old and start thinking about this a lot to really be like, this whole fucking thing
it's all
is
bullshit.
Just a way to prep you to work in a goddamn factory or an office and fill your head with lies and bullshit.
Yeah. It's to get you to be a good worker.
The whole thing is just there, just so that you're just like, man, I just got to take it.
Yeah, that's right.
Getting up at fucking 6 a.m., 6:30.
So at this point, Pete is just done with school. He's not going to learn anymore. He's not going to try anymore. He's not going to participate anymore.
Get out of there, Pete. This thing's bringing you down.
If they can't see how much he tried, how much he hustled, how hard he hustled, then fuck them, right?
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
He completely stopped trying.
Good.
Now, his baseball teammates were being approached by Cincinnati Reds scouts. Cincinnati Reds being the local professional baseball team, one of the OGs.
And now a racial name or no?
No,
it was just Red Sox.
Red Stockings, yeah.
I love Red Stockings.
I know you do. Let's not get into that. His baseball teammates.
That reminds me of the first time I got a thorny rose.
Are being approached, and his uncle, Pete's uncle, is one of the Reds' lead scouts.
Okay.
So nepotism. He gets him.
I just realized scouts racial. Go ahead.
He gets him the lowest offer you can get.
Okay.
But he gets him a contract to play A ball, the Class D of A ball. So it's the lowest rung in the minors of baseball. So there's pro, and then there's all these minor leagues, and he's at the very bottom.
Okay.
It no longer exists. That's how bad it is.
Wow.
So they just
because of tariffs. Keep going.
I mean, they just need warm bodies in that. So that's what he is.
Sure.
Offer him $7,000, which is a tenth of what one of his high school teammates got.
Okay.
His dad tried to negotiate.
Hilarious.
But Pete interrupted and said, "quote I'll take it."
That's
Yeah.
I understand both sides. I do love $7,000 a season.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
But I think it's the 50s, late 50s. Yeah.
So it's not terrible.
I don't think you can live on it still.
Yeah, right. Well, nobody can live on anything now.
It's kind of what it's. You
still make the same.
You still make the same amount.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Gareth, the Dollop is brought to you by Aura Frames.
Oh yeah.
Aura Frames. It's a digital frame. It's got a beautiful little mat. Is that what's called the mat? The frame part, and it looks great. It's very fancy looking, and then it just cycles through all the pictures you put in it using your phone.
You upload your pictures, and you pick your pictures, and then it basically was like, you like frames for one picture? I don't think so. That's a quote.
And Gareth, do you want to be the best giver?
Yes.
On Mother's Day.
The best gift giver. Yes, I do. Yes,
the best gift giver, but just giver in general.
Sure.
The rest of the family is going to be shamed by this gift that you give. It's an Aura frame. It's an Aura digital picture frame. You preload it. So you put you put thousands of photos in there. You just drop it on your mom's lap and you go, look at that.
You know what I did? In the one I gave my mother, I put a bunch of pictures she'd love. And then I just took a picture of a piece of paper where on there I wrote, "Who's better than me?" And that cycles in there every 12 photos.
Yeah, so she knows.
She knows.
I tell you, it is the best gift you can give an elderly mother also who maybe has a little bit hard time with technology things. Yep. And this is the best, a really good gift.
Yep.
To give that for me, my mom. Let's just say she doesn't have internet in her home.
Sure. Sure. And that's normal and fine. And that's
she's got like a little hotspot thing, which is not the same.
Sure.
And so we hooked her up, and it's the best thing that she's ever had. There's unlimited storage, so you can get as many photos, videos, memes. You want to put a meme in there? Do it. It's very simple to set up. Plug it in. There you go. And you can always put more photos in if you have it on your phone, the app. Hook it up.
Hook it up.
Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. For a limited time, listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com. To get $35 off plus free shipping on their best-selling Carver matte frame. That's AURA frames.com. Promo code Dollop. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply.
Yeah.
Gareth, we are also brought to you by Squarespace.
Oh, Dave. Dave, the joy we feel.
The joy we feel.
We love them.
We love them so much. They've been with us forever. They are.
We've been with them forever.
It's an all-in-one experience website platform designed to help you stand out, succeed online, pop, as the kids say.
You want to pop?
It doesn't matter if you're just starting out or you're like scaling up your business. It can get you everything you need. You can claim your domain. You can showcase your wares, your stuff. A very professional looking website. Grow your brand. Get paid. All right there. You can sell stuff.
And if you're sick of people talking about products and places that they don't use, well, that's not what we're doing. We use Squarespace for every website we are associated with. Why? Because we love it. It's user-friendly, and they keep getting better and better.
They do. The technology is wonderful. The way it lays out and how easy it is to use is incredible. All the templates are fantastic. You can really find one that works for you.
Yep, I agree. Help you with content, all this stuff. They really are the best.
So head to squarespace.com/Dollop for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use offer code Dollop to save 10% of your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com/Dollop for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use offer code Dollop to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. So he reports to training in Geneva, which is in upstate New York. The Geneva Redlegs. They do not have a professional stadium.
So where are they?
It's next to a factory.
Oh, good. You want that smoke.
It has very hazardous slopes, dips, and holes around first and third.
That's fine, though.
Yeah, because no one can get...
Well, I mean, again, I've always said baseball should have a couple more holes in the field.
You know what? That would make it more exciting.
Just imagine if a fucking like an all-star just fell into a hole and was just gone.
I'm
talking about to the center of the earth. Like a slide to Satan.
Yeah.
Just something like that, where you guys not looking out, and they should be moving and different in every stadium.
So you're just watching a game and you're like, holy Vladimir Guerrero Jr. fell into a hole. We don't have him anymore.
Where is he?
He's gone.
And they just go, he's gone.
We lost.
Yeah, you tell me. I would watch way more.
Do you still have to pay the contract out to his family? It was in the service.
I think there'd be a clause. There'd be a clause in there that would say, if you fall in the hole, you're going to get it. You're going to get $1 million. But you're not going to get the max deal.
You're going to get the contract.
No, because, look, he should know.
Yeah, don't fall in the hole.
Don't fall in that hole.
Yeah.
So,
that's fair.
Excuse me.
That's fair.
Might I add that you're covering the hole with some dirt so that we actually don't
you're doing like a trap.
Yeah, but it's either team. Either team could fall in the hole. But there is a what I'd call a home field advantage, which is when it's the home game.
You know where the hole is.
You kind of know where your hole is a little bit.
But if you're in Oakland, which
I believe plays next to a factory now.
Yes.
then you are then there's just kind of the whole I like it.
All right. So grass doesn't even grow in left field anymore. There were fights over who showered first because the hot water was very limited.
Mm-hmm.
The outfield wall was some kind of metal structure. It was either aluminum or tin. And players would hurt themselves jumping to get a fly ball. And even worse, some sliced their wrists open when chasing down a double in the gap.
Wow. Okay.
So this is what baseball should be.
Well, we did that episode on the guy who kept running in.
Yeah, Pete Reisler,
or whatever.
Pistol Pete, Crazy Pete.
Yeah.
Oh, Slippy Pete.
Yeah, Concrete Pete.
The prior season had ended when the concession stand caught on fire.
Okay.
But Pete does well.
Okay.
Because his hustles at these lower levels, hustle will really set you apart.
Sure.
Like if you're a go-getter. So it sets him apart. He climbs up the Reds ladder from 1960 to 1963, Geneva to Tampa to Macon by mastering contact hitting. Becomes a contact hitter.
Meaning what? He hits the ball.
He's always going to hit the ball.
Okay.
You're not really hitting it for power. You're just hitting it and helping you get a single or whatever.
Right, or moving, driving in RBIs or whatever.
Yeah, and contact hitters don't really strike out very much because they're more concerned about
home run hitter. You're getting a lot of strikeouts.
A lot of strikeouts because you're trying to hit a home run.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so he's a contact hitter. They don't really have very many contact hitters anymore because that was
boring.
Exciting.
It was boring.
he had a ridiculous crouch stance. I mean, go ahead and look up Pete Rose's stance if you want to Google it, because it's really insane. He would contort his body like a question mark.
What?
He's much shorter than the average MLB player, but now his eyes are chest level at the top of the strike zone.
Oh, wow. He's very low.
He's very low.
Oh, my God. There's one.
Now, you don't
He looks like Quasimodo.
You don't see people do that anymore because everyone's being taught to hit the same way. But that was... it used to be you would figure out how to hit, and that would be your thing. But now they all teach him to do it the same way.
I mean, it's comical. That's comical.
It's comical. He looks like he's hunched over. He looks like he has a back problem.
That is shocking. That is a shocking low. Okay. And I don't even know much, but that doesn't look right.
So if you're pitching to him, you have to pitch to a very small area. Yeah. So it's easier to hit.
Yeah, right.
I mean, easier to see the ball, and sure, he'd hit the ball down, which he wants. He doesn't want to hit it up for pop flies. So Pete is gaining experience, and he's getting stronger. He couldn't live on the $7,000 salary, so he works during the off season at a rail yard unloading heavy freight.
Sure.
And by the winter of 1963, he's gained over 35 pounds of muscle.
Holy shit!
Which is a lot for a little guy.
Wow, I got to get down to one of those yards.
Yeah.
That's what I got to do in the. Yeah. What we need is an off season.
We do.
We need an off season
to hit the rail yard.
We need 3 months where you and I just go and we recharge and we get cut. Yep. And I'll go be a longshoreman, and you go do whatever little thing you want to do. Huh?
I hit the bag.
Yeah, you hit the bag, whatever. I'm gonna go be with the fucking bros down by the ocean.
It's pretty rapey down there.
Well, from what I hear too, work's not what it used to be.
No,
because of the tariffs. I'm doing a lot of tariff stuff.
You should, because it's hot stuff.
Yeah, this is 5 years from now. This will help.
So the Reds' second baseman at the time is a beloved guy. Everyone on the team loves him, the fans, but he's hitting under 240, which now is totally normal, but back then, really bad.
Right, okay.
Pete was lighting up the minors, hitting 100 points higher.
Okay.
And Reds manager Fred Hutchinson was also beloved.
Okay.
More by beat writers than his players, but he would stay up drinking all night with the reporters until it was super early in the morning, and then he'd sleep for an hour or two, and then he'd go do a round of golf, and then he'd come back to the hotel when everyone was waking up.
Wow. Okay.
So
he's an alcoholic with a golf problem?
Well, remember Billy Martin? It's kind of the same fucking thing, but they all did it. It was a drinking thing.
The golf.
Baseball.
Oh, baseball was.
Yeah.
Why is he golfing?
You got to get it in.
I don't understand.
You got to get a round in.
No. Okay.
What else are you going to do? Just go to sleep?
Yeah.
Get a round in. It's early.
Even in my heavy drinking days, sleep was a big thing.
Sun's up. Go
golf.
Hit the course.
Okay.
The players' nickname for him was Old Stoneface because they never knew what he was feeling unless he was screaming, which he did quite a bit.
Well, what was he feeling when he was screaming?
Well, then they knew he was upset. They knew. Unless he was screaming, they didn't know what his emotion was.
All right. Well, obviously.
By the way, that's an alcoholic thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, today we would recognize that this is troubling.
Yeah.
I would have gone with Quasimodo.
Okay.
Based on the stance.
Yeah. We're talking about Pete Rose?
Yeah.
This is
what I'd call him?
This is the coach.
I would have called him Roseliosis. Oh, it's the coach.
Yeah, we're not talking about Pete.
Joke out.
I know, you wanted to.
Okay.
You feel weird now?
Should we go back?
Kind of like you weren't paying attention, maybe?
1. Well, there's a lot going on.
Yeah. The writers joked that Hutch didn't throw tantrums, he threw rooms. Because after losses, you see stools, tables, the entire team post-game meal spread go flying.
Oh, that would be infuriating.
He once went into the tunnel outside the dugout and methodically smashed every single light.
It takes so long.
But it's also just dude.
40 lights.
Dude, we were using that.
Our Christmas decorations.
Just get flashlights.
Yeah.
Yes. Fuck. Yeah, he's that guy.
Okay.
So Hutch knows he has to do something about this second baseman, but there's also a hierarchy. So there's at least two guys in the order above Pete, and those guys are not very good. They're bums.
Right.
Quote, if I had any guts, I'd put Pete Rose on second base and forget about it.
You're paid to have guts.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think it was different back then. I think you gave
Gotta
everybody
respect the process.
give everybody a shot. It's
Yeah,
like
right.
if you're like say you're running something called Congress and there's
Jerry Connolly, for instance.
there's
You've been waiting a
smart
long
young
time.
woman who's coming
Popular.
up popular. You could put her in this spot.
But
no,
then you got
also,
a guy who's dying.
who's got throat cancer
And he's been waiting
dying.
for a while, and he's dying, and he
So,
doesn't know how to set up a webcam.
And it's maybe the most important.
It's an important time, and it's an important role.
It's the oversight committee of the finance.
It would be very, very, very helpful to have someone with power guts who goes viral all the time to be in that role.
to take on Trump.
Absolutely. But
Instead-
not Trump. I mean, anyway. But instead, you decide you're going to put Pop, who's
Can't talk anymore
old
'cause his
Yellering
throat's gone.
and has no throat to speak up. And even when they go to him to ask him about it, he seems like it shouldn't be happening. but you still are like, you should do this.
Yeah, you should do this.
Because you're old, weird, and definitely not going to make it. And then that guy drops out because he can't make it because everyone was right that his health is so diminished that he can't possibly do the job.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of go, what are you going to do?
Anywho, so these two guys are in front of him, and he does invite Pete to spring training in 1963, so he can try to make the team.
Okay.
Right? And when he's there, Pete falls in love with pulling a doubleheader every day.
Thought a woman's name was going to be said. Okay.
That's what the players called hitting the last horse race at Florida Downs, then going across the bay to St. Petersburg for the Derby Lane dog track.
Oh, wow.
Pete, however, invented the triple header,
Okay.
tacking a late night high-lie trip.
Highlight?
High-lie.
The game?
Yeah. High-lies in Florida and I want to say Connecticut. We did an episode on it, didn't we?
Okay. I don't know.
I think we did. We did an episode on
Okay.
I remember talking about it. It was in an episode.
Yeah, right. I kind of remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, so Highlight, which occasionally still comes on, which is what is now called the Ocho, ESPN's the Ocho, which shows the craziest sports. And every once in a while I look up and I'm like, oh, Highlight's on. And it's the dumbest sport you've ever watched.
Yeah.
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 Like who made racquetball worse? So you can bet on Highlight though. That's one of the reasons they pushed it so much.
Sure.
So he would go there. So it's good. It's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, because he's focused in the right zone.
Yeah. He also did very well on the diamond. He solidified himself on the roster, though his new teammates were not really on the same. They don't care for it.
Okay.
The veterans really hated Pete because he jumped the line. He jumped over those two guys.
I really can't understand that. That seems very strange.
They're just like,
If your business is to put together the best team, at some point someone better than everyone else will come along.
but they think you give that guy a shot. You got him next, so he gets a shot. You don't have to beat the other guy out. Look, a lot of what this country is founded on is white guy nepotism. Like you just put Frank in there. Well, it's Frank's turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't stop thinking about Jerry Connolly, to be quite honest with you, and just continuing to re-rage over that one.
So the only players who treated Pete like a person were, God, is that the right name? Veda Pinson and Frank Robinson, who were both black guys.
Okay.
Because they're like kick the door in to
white
play.
people suck.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, I don't know.
Pete doesn't care that they're black guys. He would invite them to his hotel room because they couldn't stay in the team hotel. He ate with them. And when he learned this pissed off the snobby white vet players, he would just egg it on even more. Like one time performatively kneeling before Frank Robinson and tying his cleats.
I love that is shocking.
But
at the time, I mean,
my God.
just
smoke coming out the ears. White smoke.
that's why you just kiss him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, kiss him.
Just watch like men explode. Literally, a room full of guys just explode.
Just tongue kiss Frank Robinson. So Pete finds that he loves pissing people off, especially for justice or at least righteousness. In one spring training game against the Yankees, Pete bunted and tore ass to beat out the throw.
Okay.
That was not normal in spring training. You didn't fucking hustle and go all out.
Right.
You're there to get ready for the season.
Sure.
You do that in the season.
Right.
Yeah. So you just didn't do it, especially not on a bunt. You just didn't fucking do that.
Right.
So baseball icons Mickey Mantle and Whitey Ford laughed at him and said sarcastically, quote, "Wow, look at Charlie Hustle over there." Pete fucking loved it.
Like being called Charlie Hustle.
Oh, he fucking loved it. And then now he's pushing the nickname. He loves the attention. And he decided it's a compliment, and he wears it as a badge of honor.
It is weird to be like, well, this guy's really going for it. Like as a negative.
I think that you don't want to go for it.
You don't want to put yourself out there and then fail.
If someone else is going for it, now you look bad.
Right.
So it's more about like, it's the same thing as the guy gets his turn. It's these unwritten rules, which unwritten rules exist everywhere. Like doctors, when they do the residents, are supposed to stay up 48 hours straight, even though we know it kills patients. But the new when they were going to change it recently, the older doctors were like, you cannot change. That is how we do it. And it's like, it doesn't even make sense.
Right.
Like, but so there's just these things that they make everybody do that. So that's one of the things.
Yeah, it also is a super white thing.
It is a very white thing. I totally agree. Yeah. So he loves the nickname. And for the rest of his life, it would stay with him. And he said, quote, "The Mick gave it to me." Just
the Mick?
The Mick, Mickey Mantle.
Oh, okay.
Despite spending all of his time gambling and going everywhere with a man known only as the Cuban.
Oh, what the fuck? That's kind of fear and loathing. The Cuban. Okay.
Pete was he's doing well, and he landed a big league roster spot.
Okay.
Started his career 0-13.
Not good.
So that's probably 4 games.
I wonder if he was like, I need to shrink my stance more. Yeah. He'd be like, Pete, what are you doing? He's like, I'm going to dwarf it. I'm going to put my shoes on my knees. Here you go.
Yeah, so he was almost sent back to the minors. But then after a month, things settled in, and Pete starts paying attention to the pitchers. He has a really good memory. He's got a really good memory. And it was good enough that if he was pitched to in the same location twice, he was going to hit it.
Oh, shit.
And he hustled enough to make an impact, and he ends up being voted National League Rookie of the Year.
Wow.
For 1963.
Holy shit.
He's 22.
So he's on the map. Wow, 22.
Yeah. Big time on the map.
Yeah.
Now, one day at the track in the luxury boxes, Pete is looking through his binoculars, sees this beautiful woman, massive hair, gigantic hair. She's loud. She's brassy. Carol Engelhart. She's bossing around her friends. He cannot get enough of this.
Well, I mean, you're always looking for a woman with a huge head of hair.
Yeah.
That's just shouting at her friends.
Yelling loud.
That's what you want.
Yelling big hair, just in charge.
Just, yeah.
Yeah. This woman will be...
Binocular out a woman too.
She'll be...
Look at her.
Terrible to me, but block the sun.
She seems like a total fucking nightmare. Hold my binoculars, boys.
Within months, they're married.
Wow.
She's Catholic, so she wants a big Catholic wedding.
Sure.
She's a little embarrassed, however, when Pete kept asking during the ceremony if it was over yet.
Now, I gotta go to the track.
Now, if you've ever been to a Catholic wedding, yeah, that's actually the most asked question.
Dare I say any wedding?
No, you
really,
dude, a Catholic, a real traditional Catholic
I've been
wedding.
To one.
Holy fuck, dude! I mean, get ready for your legs to be sore. Like it just up, down, up, down. Like it just never ends. It's crazy.
Oh, gosh.
They're like 2 hours. The ceremony.
Yeah.
Or feel like 2 hours if they're not. I remember, the first time I went to one, I walked out and I was just like, what in the fuck just happened?
The truth is, it's like any wedding you go to, like more and more now people are like quick. And you're just like, buddy, that is so appreciated.
Yeah.
Like the fact that we don't need to like spend 2 hours sitting there doing all this shit.
Yeah, just get it over.
Just quick.
I love you. Let's go. Party.
I say bang them right there on the altar.
Well, that's very Scottish.
Yeah, absolutely.
For
so it ain't getting over. There we are. What do you mean I do? I bloody did. I finished. Look at that.
And the reason he kept asking if the ceremony was over yet was because he had double booked himself.
He's got to gamble.
He had scheduled to give a speech at a press banquet.
Oh, wow.
So he leaves his own wedding reception in his tux to give a speech to the press, which goes over very well.
Sure.
But Carolyn pretty quickly realized that she's not really high up on the priority list of Pete Rose.
Yeah. Well, leaving your wedding to give a speech to reporters is a red flag.
Pete first, then baseball, then her. And even when they have their daughter Fawn and their son Pete Jr., it's always Pete first and then baseball.
Sure.
So Pete makes the All-Star team 4 of the next 6 years. He has the most hits. He won the batting title twice. He got to accompany baseball's living legend Joe DiMaggio to entertain the troops in Vietnam.
And boy, could they use it.
Why is that?
Because very quickly they realized that this war made no sense. And they're like, wait, what's going on? You're fighting communism.
Quote, I was in awe of this guy. I mean, this guy was one of my heroes. I couldn't believe I'm riding helicopters with Joe DiMaggio. It's hot. I mean, it's so goddamn hot you can't sleep. And Joe says, I can't sleep. I got to take a shower. So the way you take a shower, you got this big bamboo thing up here, and you got to get up on a chair, and you got to feed the water down. So I'm up on the thing feeding the water, and he's taking a shower. Best way to describe Joe DiMaggio was he's a penis with a man hanging off of him. I mean, Joe DiMaggio. There's some guys you don't have to say, like, it's Joe. It's Joe DiMaggio. You don't have to be like, oh, he had a big fucking Joe DiMaggio.
See, to me, I don't really. Not to be rude, it doesn't really bother me. I don't really care either way about who Joe DiMaggio is. But I also do.
What?
I picture Marilyn Monroe. That's what my mind goes to.
Yeah, she got the hog, is what they say. Yeah.
She got the 7-year inch.
Yeah. So she was maybe a huge size queen.
Maybe.
Well, actually, the Kennedys, nah. There's no way the Kennedys have big ones.
I mean, I don't know where this conversation's going.
Yeah, we're talking peas.
What are you talking about?
This is a new podcast, Talking Peas.
I don't want to talk now because I'm just picturing RFK's roided up dick, his 6-pack schlong.
You know, it's really lumpy and weird.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And when he finishes, it's just like bah, 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 bah.
He takes it out, and someone's like, "Did that get dragged?"
Yeah, and he's like, "Let me give you a shot."
By 1970, Pete is one of the most famous players in the game of baseball.
Okay.
All-Star Game was held in Cincinnati that year. There's a very promising young catcher for the Cleveland Indians named Ray Fosse. And the night before, he and Pete, another player, and their wives have drink of Pete's. Then they have dinner, and then they go back to Pete's for a nightcap. This might be competitive to gain an advantage because Ray's on the other team, the American League team. Pete goes to bed early, and Caroline has to figure out how to get everyone out and home.
Okay.
So that sounds
leaves her with the tab.
For about 8.5 innings, the game is not good.
Sure.
It's a game. So the National League plays the American League, the best players, and it didn't mean anything. So it didn't often. No one cared. It was just like, oh, you get to watch these guys.
Yeah.
Now they try to attach some meaning to it. So in the bottom of the ninth, with the AL up 4-1, the National League finally rallies and ties the game. Up to this point, Pete is having a terrible game.
Pete is National League?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Nixon's there. There's 50
Nixon's there?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
There's 50 million people watching, and he's having a terrible game.
Sure.
It's easily the largest audience he's ever been in front of.
Sure.
In the bottom of 12, he does get a single. He gets a second, and there's 2 outs. And if you're on second base and there's 2 outs, once someone makes contact, you run. Like ordinarily, you'd wait to see if it's a fly ball. You wait.
Yep.
2 outs, you run, no matter what. So, and he's the hustle guy too, so he's going to run. So next batter hits a bloop single.
A bloop single?
Yeah,
like a little dinky.
It's not a hard shot. It's just
right,
boop,
kind of a lucky.
Falls in, yeah. Okay. Pete runs around third. The outfielder picks it up, thrown home. Outfielder's got a good arm. And there's Ray Fosse. He's the catcher.
Mm-hmm. His buddy.
And he's blocking the plate. Standing in front of the plate. And so Pete can't do his head first, his signature slide.
Sliding isn't an option because he's going to be tagged.
That's another thing you're going to look up. Pete Rose sliding head first.
Like I think I know. This is where his batting helmet drops off or whatever.
Totally. He can't do that because it's too risky.
Right.
He can break his collarbones going into the catcher, right? You can do that at second, but the catcher's full of gear. So
he's not going to run into him. Oh, that's what I thought was coming.
Well, no, he can't slide feet first either because he would never get to the plate because the guy's blocking it. Right. And Pete said his dad is in the front row and he heard his voice in his head, quote, "Don't play like a sissy."
It's cool that that's the legacy.
So he just spear tackles.
Yeah, right.
Hard.
Yeah.
Really fucking hard.
Today we would call it giving him a concussion. Like a CTE move.
The collision is like people can't believe what they just saw. They're in the stadium. There are 10 seconds of silence.
Oh, Jesus. Back then, too.
Until the crowd realized that Fosse never even had the ball. The ball didn't get to him. He hit him before he got the ball.
What the fuck? Pete
scores, and the National League wins again, 8th time in a row. Who cares about Fosse? They fucking won.
May I watch it quickly?
Sure, you can watch it. I'll say this while you're watching it.
Okay.
Fosse doesn't get up.
Oh, God.
He's a tough guy. He once got hit in the ear by a foul ball. A chunk of his ear came flying off. There was blood dripping down his neck, and he stayed in the game. So
Jesus
he's tough.
Christ.
He's a tough guy. And Fosse is now clutching his shoulder and rolling around in the dirt.
Okay.
His all of his AFL American League buddies, including Pete's old friend Frank Robinson, are saying things like, quote, "I don't know why he hit him so hard. I don't think it was necessary to be that aggressive in a game that doesn't mean much. And that dirty SOB could have slid around him."
Yeah, well, the fact that he doesn't have the ball.
I mean, that's how you played baseball back then.
But that's still fucking crazy. Watching that just now, that is absolutely nuts.
It is. So there's two kinds of baseball.
Because in that play, normally, if the catcher has the ball, you're basically just trying to knock the ball out. And if the catcher lets go of the ball and you touch the base, you're safe.
Yeah, you're trying to knock.
So the whole point of hitting the catcher is to
knock him out,
knock the ball out of his hand.
Yeah, knock him so he can't hold on to the ball, which means hitting him really hard, concussed. So that's what baseball was. It's brutal. It's crazy. Even when, I always liked baseball back then. Even back then, I just be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And there were guys who loved doing it.
Yeah.
And there are other guys who were like, no.
Yeah.
There's a guy, Chase Utley, who was on the Dodgers, and he was a big guy who did that. And I talked to a guy who was on one of his teams, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we mostly all hated it." Yeah. I mean, there are a couple guys that liked it, but
that's the really weird skill to have.
Well, because you're also, you're playing against a guy who is making his living playing the sport, and you could end that tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
So that's why, it's not great.
That's why it's awesome to watch.
Yeah, that's why it's
you're
awesome.
Just like, wow, this guy's life could change.
But that changed like 10 years ago. They changed it, and they call it the Buster Posey rule, because Buster Posey got taken out, and he was out for a season. So now you can't run into people anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ugh. It's just, and by the way, look at how the country's gone down the toilets and stuff like that.
There's still guys mad about it. There's still,
of course, they should be.
Fucking Buster Posey. Yeah. You're just like, all right, buddy. Well, I'm sorry we can't ruin careers for you anymore.
Well, Monday, like football, obviously has a much different problem because tackling is obviously part of the sport. But if you watch the old Monday Night Football intro,
oh, dude, it's crazy. It's all illegal.
Everything's illegal.
Everything.
And then when they're going to the commentators, it's two helmets that just smash in.
And
like
explode.
The whole thing was they were just like, we need to ruin brains.
Yeah, these guys are killing each other.
Yeah, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's really nuts. So this was the beginning of Ray Fosse's career was plateauing, going up, and then it went down.
Huh.
He was thought to be the next great catcher in baseball. His shoulder injury was then misdiagnosed by a team doctor.
It's his leg. He's mostly leg.
He played with a fractured and separated shoulder, which then healed wrong. So his follow-through motion was ruined forever, and he'd never be as good of a hitter
I love
again.
doctors back then.
He did.
Like sports doctors.
Yeah.
This is nice. It's it looks like a bat wing. That's where we need you. That's it, Ray.
Yeah, so he could have been one of the great. He's still considered a great in Cleveland, but he could have been like, Johnny Bench great.
Sure, he could have been like a real city great.
Now, the opposite side of that is Pete Rose. This is his big coming out on the national stage. Mm-hmm. It cemented him as Charlie Hustle.
Get that boy to Vietnam.
Kind of the king of playing hard, not being a sissy.
Dudes are, what are we?
It's crazy. It's
you think men are bad now? 70s men? Oh my God. The holes that we were trying to fill in ourselves that would never be fixed. The whole thing of just like, you don't want to be a sissy. You're gay. I'm not gay.
Yeah, that's all it was. That year, the Reds went to the World Series, but they lost. But this is the very beginning.
Why didn't Pete just go in the dugout and beat some of them with a bat?
That's a good point.
Charlie Hustle them.
Not a sissy.
Yeah.
This, however, would be it's the beginning of one of the great super teams in baseball, which would be nicknamed the Big Red Machine.
Okay.
So in 1972, the Reds made and lost their second World Series, and Pete was in a massive slump. He only hit .214. He had almost as many strikeouts as hits.
Okay.
That October in Baltimore, federal agents raided the home of a famous maitre d' in Little Italy.
What is that? It'd be great. They're like breaking the door down. He's like, "And how many are you?" I don't know if we can do 15. We'll do, I don't know.
They found betting records.
Oh, God.
And a notebook with the names of 11 pro umpires.
Oh, man.
MLB brass and local officials spiked the story. Just a minor item, they said. And the case was closed before it got going.
Okay.
In 1973, Pete is now pissed. Is
that just the seed you've tossed?
Yeah, maybe. He couldn't do shit in the playoffs.
Okay.
And now the Reds stink for the first half of the season. They're falling way behind the Dodgers, who's their main competitor. And Pete one day marches up to Dodger Ron Cey on the field before a game and snarled, quote, "The only way you're going to beat us in September is if our fucking plane goes down."
Jesus, Pete.
So he's fun. He's a fun guy. That's just being fun on the field. You're just having a good time with your buddies.
Hey, Pete, don't say that sort of shit, dude. I'm a little, not into flying.
Pete and the Reds go on a tear for the rest of the year, and they beat the Dodgers in September.
And then their plane crashed.
Pete won his third batting title, his only MVP. He became the fifth position player in MLB history to win with 5 or fewer home runs.
Wow. That is crazy.
That's how good he is at contact hitting.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So getting pissed and making his opponents pissed are part of his game at this point. Like, it's how he plays the game.
Sure.
In the National League Championship Series that year, the Reds played the Mets, who had only finished 3 games over 500. Okay. So they're in 2 different divisions. So the other division, they're not that good, but they won it.
Right.
But the Reds win game 1 and the Mets win game 2, and then they're up 9-2 in game 3.
Reds are.
Yeah, no, the
Mets.
The Mets are up 9-2 in game 3. And so the Reds have no chance to win that game. It just doesn't matter. They're not going to catch them. And Pete's furious. So he tries to stop a double play by launching himself into second baseman Bud Harrelson.
So he's starting to take guys out physically.
Taking a guy out, yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
He doesn't break up the play. He almost breaks Harrelson.
Sure.
Who isn't happy. A lot.
Sounds like sissy talk.
Well, there's a line. There's breaking up a double play, and then there's a dirty play.
Sure.
And he was like, "That's a dirty play." So that's like that fine line when then they start fighting.
Right.
Bench is clear. It's a for real brawl. Like you don't really see this anymore in baseball. The last one I remember was between the Cardinals and the Giants, and it was like, I want to say early 90s, and like guys came out with like broken ribs and shit. Like it went on, and you're like, my God, they're killing people down there. Like it's crazy to watch when it happens. And punches are being thrown like crazy. And Harrelson later bragged about stopping Pete Rose's fist with his face.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Man, dude, seriously, like, what the fuck? Isn't it? I mean, again, we're dealing with total psychopaths now, but the bravado of...
I do believe that when people say, this is when there was lead in the gasoline. And I do think that is like a legitimate thing. Like it made people out of their fucking minds.
Right. What's our excuse now?
It was, so Pete's not happy. The crowd isn't happy with him. And when he went back to the outfield, play stopped for 10 minutes at Shea Stadium because the crowd was pelting him with everything they had.
Okay.
When an empty bottle of Jack Daniels sailed by his head, Pete picked it up and threw it right back into the crowd.
You're sneaking in a bottle of Jack Daniels?
It's the Mets.
I'm all over the place for how American. You know what I mean? The second we're talking about everyone being made fun of for being a sissy, and there's like physical abuse happening and all that, and then all of a sudden it's like, but you could also. You're bringing in bottles of Jack Daniels, empty bottles of Jack Daniels.
I mean, well, you emptied it.
Absolutely.
And of course you're going to throw it if you emptied a bottle of Jack Daniels.
Yeah, it's logic.
Jesus Christ. You can bring in fucking containers. So we used to just bring in a cooler.
Oh, yeah.
And you'd put the fucking liquor in that, right?
Oh, yeah. I remember like when I was serious, I was probably like 17.
A canteen is what I'm thinking of. Like a.
But you could just bring, like, I had like a Sprite bottle and it was full of vodka, and it was like they'll never notice that.
Right, that's right. And then you're shit faced out of your mind. Yeah.
I mean, I actually do remember the throw up I had the first time when this is a very Milwaukee day, but I snuck the vodka into County Stadium, drank most of the vodka, was so drunk I was sick, and then later that night at a bowling alley, I remember throwing up hot dog chunks coming out of my nostrils.
A very Milwaukee day. Yeah. That's the song that ends.
It was very true. Throwing up County Stadium hot dogs through your nostrils in a bowling alley.
That should be like a little promo, like they do.
Yeah,
the more you know
Miller
kind of thing.
Lite,
Except that should be the Milwaukee version.
Yeah. By the way, I've already told you the More You Know campaigns. It's really tough to watch now. ending the More You Know with a Jenna Bush I'm sorry. No,
I know. So the Mets had to come out of their dugout to settle the crowd down because it's about to get fucking crazy. The Reds lose, as they were always going to lose, but it lit up Pete. Now Pete is fired up
because he's an enemy.
Well, yeah,
he's a bad boy.
He gets going on it,
sure.
Right?
Like, he's a villain.
After the game, he said, quote, "I'm no damn girl out there. I'm supposed to give the fans their money's worth and try to bust up double plays and shortstops." So he's just a fucking dick. He's a dick.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot of society times, and then there's a lot of personal Pete issues.
Yeah. So game 4 is tense. It goes into extra innings. Pete comes to bat. He knew the pitcher, and he knew what to expect, and he made the mistake of throwing the same pitch twice.
Okay.
Even though he'd only hit 5 home runs all year, he crushed it and won the game. He hit .381 for the series. Didn't matter. The Mets still won the last 2 games and sent the Reds packing.
Wow.
So by 1974, Pete had begun running around on Carolyn, who was raising their 2 young kids.
Her hair was probably less big.
Yeah.
Which is that's a turnoff.
Yeah. You got to keep the hair big.
If I meet you and you've got enormous hair.
Keep it poofing.
Sorry. Keep it poofing, Carrot Top.
And she's home taking care of the kids. It's the classic fucking thing. A friend said Pete had a girl in every town. And when I say girl, Gareth, I mean girl. As early as 1973, Pete was calling a 14 or 15-year-old girl regularly. She says they started sleeping together in 1974. Having sex with a 16-year-old was technically legal in Ohio, but Gareth, she wasn't 16. And he couldn't wait. According to the victim, Pete repeatedly committed statutory rape and took her to states where the age of consent was 18. Gareth, that's trafficking.
Oh, my God.
Carolyn knew what was going on, and she begins distancing herself from Pete.
I don't understand it. This is not going to be one of these clips that ages horribly when you find out that I text 15-year-old women. I don't understand it. I don't understand what about that.
I don't know. Let's get friend of the show, Chris D'Elia, on the horn.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. You see, he cries at the end of his last special.
Did he?
Yeah. Because he feels bad.
Are you serious?
For his dad. Because his dad went through a lot.
What about the girls?
Well, what about...
He convinced a teenager to get a tattoo of him.
Okay, well, dude... Oh, really, dude? Okay. Whatever. Okay. No, so what?
Those are good points.
I mean...
Yeah, no, it's a good point.
Well, nobody's trying to steal their... Like, that sucks. Sorry that you got the fucking... Sorry. But his dad looks older.
His dad, the guy who's already like a multimillionaire from running.
We're gonna take a 5. We're gonna take a 5, everybody. This podcast just got a little heated.
And he used his power to get that piece of shit on every show and fucking TV.
Okie
When Caroline's not mad, she goes on a local daytime talk show in Cincinnati, and the lady host is jokingly prodding her. Quote, I mean...
So Pete bangs little girls. What's that like?
Quote, I mean, he's not the type to be jealous of, is he? Well, said Carolyn, wouldn't you be jealous? And the host tried to guide Carolyn to a nicer, friendly answer. Quote, I mean, it's not like he runs around, the host said. Carolyn hesitates. Well, she wasn't sure the host isn't sure what she's supposed to say next. No, yeah, well, nervous laughter breaks out on the set, which saves the moment.
I don't know if any moment got saved. You're reading it. I don't think a moment got saved.
Well, it stopped. How's that?
Sure.
Here's the crazy thing about Pete. Well, there's a lot of crazy things about Pete, but when his personal life is falling apart, when things are getting worse, he plays better.
Yeah, I do get that.
I guess I could see that.
I get that.
I wouldn't be like that.
When the stalker was making me go crazy.
Yeah.
It was like to actually have a zone where your brain could kind of leave that alone.
Yeah.
It's locked in a different way.
Yeah, I get it. In 1975, he led the league in doubles and runs. He was 5th in MVP voting. In the playoffs, he was even better. They swept the Pirates. Pete hit .357, leading his team in advanced stats and winning the NLCS MVP. They made the World Series for the 3rd time in 6 years and would play a very good Boston Red Sox team. Red Sox win the first game. In the second game, Bill Spaceman Lee,
our boy,
had a 2-1 lead in the top of the 9th, and he gave up a hit, and Boston's manager pulled him. The Reds then scored 2 runs and won the game. So it goes to game 7.
Okay.
Again, Bill Spaceman Lee has the lead.
I feel like we've covered this outcome before on the show, but I still have no clue what happens.
3-0 in the 6th. Gareth, you don't even know what happened with 98% of the things on this show. So, of course, you're not going to know what happened in a game.
First of all, don't love your stats. Second of all, don't care for your attitude. Third, thought we were fucking being buddies, and here you are stabbing your friend. Fourth, I don't even remember what 1 was.
Yeah. 3-0 lead in the 6th. Pete's on first. Johnny Bench hit a double play ball to the shortstop, who flipped it to the second baseman.
Uh-oh.
Right as Pete Rose is barreling into him.
Jesus Christ, Pete, leave him be.
Just like he did to Bud Harrelson and Ray Fosse. The second baseman leaped over Pete. That was very common back then.
Sure.
To get out of it, you had to jump over people running into you.
Right.
And sailed his throw into the Red Sox dugout. Johnny Bench goes to second. The inning would have been over if not for Pete's try-hard dick move.
Yeah. That isn't a Charlie Hustle move. There's someone who's just like, my livelihood.
I'm going to take this guy out.
Yeah.
Spaceman's manager tells him not to throw his famous pitch, which is the ephus curve.
Yeah.
So the ephus curve is cartoonishly slow it's ridiculous. It makes hitters look really dumb because you're like, how could he not hit that slowest pitch?
But they're so prepped for a fast pitch.
And they're just not used to pitches that slow. Like their teams still, like you'll see it a lot in high school. They'll bring in a guy who throws really slow after a fast guy.
Right.
Because you can't adjust.
Right.
Fuck that. Fuck him. That's what Spaceman thinks. He's like, fuck that.
It's like a classic Spaceman.
So he throws the eephus pitch. The guy waiting is waiting for it, and he hits a home run.
Okay.
An inning later, Pete hit the game-tying single and then scored the game-winning run, and the Big Red Machine finally won their first World Series. Charlie Hustle proved he could do it in the playoffs. He was named the MVP. The Boston Globe couldn't stand the way he played, sarcastically calling him the Reds badge of courage and the Protestant ethic rounding third.
What the fuck?
The Protestant ethic rounding third is the
Protestant
best.
ethic?
It's the Protestant work ethic.
The Protestant work. So, right.
Protestant ethic rounding third.
Right. So there's
it's a great slam.
So it's a pro-Catholic slant.
Yeah.
And
it's a great slam.
Right. Okay.
Because the Protestant ethic has fucking partially destroyed the world. Like, it's really bad.
I don't agree.
The Reds were the team of destiny the next year, winning the World Series again, this time over the Yankees. But they would have never won that World Series if he hadn't had taken out that guy at second.
Right.
So he is rewarded.
Sure. Yeah.
And so that's the end of part 1.
Well, yeah. There's more to learn, I guess. But it definitely seems like... Charlie Hustle, there's a good amount of abuse in the game. And so far, a guy that I guess I always felt a modicum of sympathy towards Pete Rose, and that's changed pretty quickly.
Yeah. This is Josh Androsky did the research. Charlie Hustle, The Rise and Fall of Pete Rose, and The Last Glory Days of Baseball by Keith O'Brien. Charlie Hustle and the Matter of Pete Rose by Mark Monroe. The Hit King, Pete Rose in Purgatory by Scott Rabb, and baseballreference.com.
Well, there you go.
Hanging on. Hanging on your